Good morning, everyone. My name's Emily Barry and I'm a first-year ordinand at St Mellitus. I'm going to share with you a passage from John's Gospel and a short reflection. So we're starting at chapter 7 and verse 53. It says, "Then each went to his own home, but Jesus went to the Mount of Olives. At dawn he appeared again at the temple courts where the people gathered round him, and he sat down to teach them. The teachers of the law and the Pharisees brought in a woman who had been caught in adultery. They made her stand before the group and said to Jesus, 'Teacher, this woman has been caught in the act of adultery. In the law of Moses commanded us to stone such a woman. Now what do you say?' They were using this question as a trap in order to have a basis for accusing him. But Jesus bent down and started to write in the ground with his finger. When they kept on questioning him, he straightened up and said to them, 'If any of you is without sin, let him be the first to throw a stone at her.' Again he stooped down and wrote on the ground. At this, those who heard began to go away one at a time, the older ones first, until only Jesus was left with the woman still standing there. Jesus straightened up and asked her, 'Woman, where are they? Has no one condemned you?' 'No one, sir,' she answered. 'Then neither do I condemn you,' Jesus declared. 'Go now and leave your life of sin.' So what really struck me when I was reading that passage is that actually Jesus really had the right to agree with the men and to let them stone her, because what they're asking is only the fulfillment of the Old Testament law, God's law. And so Jesus, as a rabbi and also as the actual Son of God, had every right to say, yes, fulfill the law. He was well within his rights. What's interesting is the Pharisees must have known that he might not have agreed to do this. And I wonder actually what he must have been doing in the previous days and weeks to give them the impression that Jesus wouldn't actually ask them to fulfill the law. And I kind of get that might have been quite confusing for them. Why was this rabbi who says he's from God not wanting God's law to actually be fulfilled, but then showing so many of God's other characteristics and obviously the miracles as well? It made me think about the attitude that we have to our rights. We often are indignant when we don't get what we think we're entitled to or what we deserve, even if actually we're right, we do deserve those things, or what we're asking for is just. If someone cuts us up on the road, or the waiter brings us cold food in a restaurant, we kind of obviously we get upset about these things and we want our rights to be fulfilled. We also are very keen these days on our right to complain about things in terms of, everyone, even your sort of tin of baked beans has a complaints procedure written on it. And as a nation, I think we've become increasingly litigious over the last couple of decades as we're sort of making sure that our rights as consumers and as citizens are fully met. And in some ways, there's nothing wrong with this. And obviously, God is a God of justice, and He also wants us to have justice in our lives and for us to be just to others. This story reminds me a bit of the bishop at the beginning of the film Les Mis, or the musical Les Mis, if you've seen it. It's all about a criminal called Jean Valjean who sleeps overnight in the house of a bishop who kind of puts him up because he's become destitute. He's just got out of prison. And during the night, he gets up and he steals the bishop's precious silver candlesticks and runs off with them. But the police catch him and bring him back and haul him in front of the bishop, who, in an amazing turn, rather than declaring, yes, he should be put back in prison and sort of left there to rot, which would have been not an unreasonable request in the circumstances, actually welcomes Jean Valjean back, and to the surprise of the police says, yes, these were my gifts to him, here, have the rest of the silverware, and sends him off in peace. I think the challenge that I really sense when I read this passage is that, Jesus is merciful to this woman, and he's also so merciful to us that, it's well within God's rights to punish us for the things we do and to have nothing to do with us. But that isn't how he acts to us. In fact, when other people, or maybe when the devil wants to accuse us, he sets us free and doesn't allow those accusations to stand. So it makes me think, what's our attitude towards others when we're slighted, even if it's an accident? How keen are we always to make sure we get everything we deserve and our rights are fully met? Or are we able to at times be gracious and to allow those things to go by, to forgive the debts of others like Jesus has forgiven us? So that is the thought that I want to leave with you today. I hope you enjoy your day. See you soon.